Hello, this is Wendy with loveandstampin.com. Welcome to your little Ladybug class. This is the first project that we're going to make. It's so stinking cute. It is a little bag and it just uses two 6x6 sheets of designer paper. The Golden Honey paper is what I've used here, but you could use any designer series paper that you want. We're going to pop it into the paper trimmer and score it at 1 inch on 3 of the sides. So you just want to score it on 3 sides, leaving the top for the opening of the bag. So after we score on all 3 sides on both sheets at 1 inch, we are going to do some trimming. Oh, I forgot this. You do need to score at a 1/2 inch mark on 2 of the sides that are opposite of each other, only about 4 inches down. Okay, so we're taking the sides. So here I'm going from the bottom up and doing it about 4 inches, and here I'm going from the top down because those are the opposite sides and it's just easier for me to do it that way. So that makes our little indentation. That's a really important step because it makes our little indentation on the sides of the bag. Again, that's that's scored at a 1/2 inch on each of your sides. Now, one of your bag pieces is going to end up looking like this. You're going to cut away the corner tabs because you don't need 2 tabs. So we're going to cut away the corner tabs on one sheet and it will look like this. And then the other sheet, we're going to fold on all the score lines except for those 1/2 inchers. And then we're going to just cut up and make our little tabby pieces. So when you're done, you should have 2 pieces that look like this. The piece on the left is going to fit inside of the piece on the right. So we're going to add tear and tape adhesive all along the score line. So we're doing it on the score line and then we're doing it on the edge. So this way there's no part of this tab piece that's going to be flopping around and being weird inside of our bag. So after you do that step, you're going to remove the tear and tape adhesive, and then we're going to carefully fit this piece into this piece. Okay, so these will get layered together. Now, if you had a large piece of designer series paper, you could do this without having 2 6x6 pieces. However, you could use a 12x6. However, in the packet, I included 6x6 sheets. So I wanted to show you how to put this bag together using it 6x6. So now comes the part where we pinch in the sides where we did that 1/2 inch score line. This part's really important. You don't want to close the bottom of your bag. You want to leave it open so that you can do this part. Now I'm using a 1/2 inch circle punch, and it is difficult to get on there because we're going to punch through several layers, and then it is difficult to punch, but it does it. So if you don't have a high quality punch to do this with, you could press this together and just hand cut out a little notch or circle or something like that. This is the part that's going to keep the bag closed at the top, so that part is important. If you don't want to mess with that part, you simply don't even need to punch it. You can just leave it and close it however you'd like. So on one of the bottom large tabs, you're going to add tear and tape adhesive. You don't need to add adhesive to anywhere else on the bottom. I'll show you here. You're just going to, sorry about that. You're just going to remove the backing from each piece, fold in the tab sides, fold in one side, and then the one that you had adhesive on is going to fold in last. So it will close the bag on the bottom. Okay, now we have our layered pieces, and we're starting with a piece of basic black, and it is cut at, I'm going to tell you in just a second here, 3 by 3. and I had to look at my notes. It's cut at 3 by 3, and I'm using Stampin' Dimensionals to put that on the bag and kind of center it. And then we have a piece of Poppy Parade that I'm going to use Tombow glue for, and it is cut at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And we're going to layer that piece down, and all of these pieces are included and cut and ready for you to use. So you don't have to worry about having those pieces ready. The only pieces you have to like cut and prep and do anything with is your designer series paper. Okay, so the thank you sentiment, I'm going to stamp there at the bottom first before I add it to my bag, and that is the little thank you from the Ladybug set. And then I am going to add this layer, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 to the bag. All of these dimensions are listed on your PDF. So if you aren't sure about, measurements or whatever, you can check there. Your kit came with the Country Club twine, and you can use 2 pieces, 1 piece. You could use the green. It doesn't matter. Whatever makes you happy to tie the bag off. Now, I pre-colored and cut all of my pieces for today's projects because frankly, it takes a long time. The video was already really long, and it's as simple as just using Poppy Parade to color your wings, a little bit of smoky slate in the center for the tummy, and a little bit of ivory on the face. And then the flower is left white and just outlined with some pineapple punch. And I've got some granny apple green for the stem and the leaves. Super, super simple coloring. No mysteries here or complications of how to color these images. So if you don't know how to color the ladybugs and you're wanting to know, I did link to a video below that shows me coloring some of the ladybugs. So there's a link in the description of this video so that you can check that out. It's not these ladybugs, but it is ladybugs. So that, well, it is these ladybugs, but not the ones I'm using on the back. Oh, good Lord. Anyways, so here I decided I wanted to trim my twine a little bit shorter, and instead of just like grabbing it with my other hand, I kept trying to do it with one. I don't know. These are the things Wendy does. There's your bag. Isn't that stinking cute? I just love it. I love how it came together and makes a great little thank you gift, but you could stamp any sentiment that you wanted to down there. I just tend to find that I have a lot of thank yous happening in my life, thanking people for, I always say it takes a village to raise Wendy. These are the epoxy elements that are included in your package. Now, if you so desire, you can take your basic black Stampin' Blend marker or a black Sharpie, and you can color some of them black. And then you'll have a black embellishment. Isn't that cool? So I really love how this one turned out, and we're going to move right on to the next one. This is your gift card holder, and we are going to, it's very, very, very simple to make, and it's really cute. So here are the pieces. You're going to start out with a piece of 4 1/4 by 11 cardstock, and you're going to cut 2 inches off the bottom. Easy peasy. Then you're going to take Tombow glue or another strong adhesive, and you're going to just use adhesive on 3 sides only. And then you're going to add that to the bottom of your card base. Once you have done that, you need to let it dry before you mess with it because it will just pull it back off. Basic black cardstock, we've got, this piece is cut at, I gotta look at my notes. This piece is cut at 1 3/4 by 4 inches. And then the designer series paper is 1 1/2 by 3 3/4. And then for the top, and again, we're using that golden honey. And then at the top, we've got 4 by 3 1/4. And then the designer series paper layer is, oh, 3 by 3 3/4. Sorry, I got weirded out there for just a second. I was looking at the measurement. I'm like, wait, that can't be right. Oh, yes, it can. So anyway, we're going to layer that piece down, and then we are done with the layering of the card pieces. You're going to take some of that beautiful red twine that came in your pack, tie a bow around the top part right here, and then you can add all of your little embellishments and pieces on after that. Now you can stamp and cut any ladybug that you want, as many of them as you want. You could cover the whole front of this with ladybugs. My card and project ideas are more a base of the images than they are you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can use different designer series papers. You can, mix and match different colors. You could use blue ribbon right here instead of red. You could color your ladybugs with blue wings. It's cards, people. So you do you. Whatever makes you happy and you think is fun, please do that. And if you share it on social media, do me a favor and tag me. And let me know so that I can take a peek at whatever it is that you designed, because I would love to see that. It always makes me really happy when people share on Facebook or Instagram and they tag me on a creation that they were inspired by from something I made. So I would love that. Okay, we're removing the dimensional backings there, adding this little flying ladybug to the top. I'm kind of obsessed with her, if I'm being honest. I really love the flying ladybug. And then we're going to add this little sneak peek ladybug. That's what I call her. She's like looking back over her shoulder. She's peeking around. And then we're going to do some stamping with the happy birthday sentiment. And I'm going to do heat embossing. So I'm going to use Versamark ink, which is a tacky, sticky ink. I'm going to stamp it down and then add my white embossing powder over the top. Now I use the Embossing Buddy first, and that's just like a talcum powder almost, and it prevents your embossing powder from sticking in areas that you don't want it to stick in. So I heat embossed it really quick off camera because my embossing tool is too hard to bring to my surface, and my heat tool, and I'm just going to add this little sentiment right in this area. And that's it. Now I've got a happy birthday gift card holder. Isn't that cute? Oh, and of course, we've got to add some epoxy elements. Can't forget those. I had to take a swig of my coffee there. My throat's getting, my talker's running out of steam. Okay, so I wanted to add little elements down near the bottom ladybug too. I have a thing about odd numbers, so I wanted there to be odd numbers of epoxy elements. So there's 5 on there. And then we're going to make this card. This card is so stinking cute. I love it. The only mistake I made is I wish I would have made my little peeking ladybug stick out a little further. So don't make my mistake. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to take an 8.5 by 5.5 card base. You're going to cut it at 1 inch on the front flap and then cut it at 1 inch again. You're going to discard that middle 1 inch piece. So all you have left is this one strip. You're going to take your window sheet that came in your kit, and you're going to glue these pieces to each side of your window sheet. So as you can see there, I added glue to the back, and then I'm layering it down with the window sheet caught underneath. So now I've got a peekaboo card. So the window sheet is in the center, and everything's lined up so that the card opens and closes easily. And all the measurements are the same. So the window sheet is cut at 2 by 5.5, and that little strip on the edge is 1 inch by 5.5. And this piece of Poppy Parade cardstock, I'm going to tell you, it's cut at 2 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then this piece of designer series paper is cut at 2 by 5 1/4. And again, we're using that golden honey, but we're trying to focus on kind of on the black and white red theme here. So we're adding that piece. And then on the other side, I've got a piece of Poppy Parade cardstock that is cut at, I'm going to tell you, 7/8 of an inch by 5 3/8. And then the piece of designer series paper is cut at 3/4 of an inch by 5 1/4. So again, all of your measurements are listed in your PDF tutorial along with all the supplies that I use. So don't get stressed out with the video if you're not able to keep up with stuff. So here's where I made a faux pas. I should have moved her closer in so her head was peeking out of the window a little bit more, and I didn't. So don't do what I did. Make sure that she is, see, I was really disappointed with that. So, but I stuck her down and then I tried to move her and I moved her a little bit, but it wasn't enough. And I was afraid if I moved her too much, then I was gonna have glue all over the place. So don't do what I did. Make sure you put her so she's peeking out the window really well, because I don't feel like she's poking out enough there. Then we have our flower going down. I'm using dimensionals to pop it up. I'm a dimensional queen. I love dimensionals. I love popping up my images. I think it's so fun. And then again, I'm going to add the flying ladybug flying away off of this flower. I just love the way that looks. I don't know why. Again, you do you. You make these little ladybugs do whatever it is you want them to do. I've got a 1 3/8 inch scallop circle punch, say that 5 times fast, and a 1.5 inch Poppy Parade circle punch, and I'm layering them together. And then I'm going to add them right down at the bottom here, this little sweet thinking of you sentiment. So when you open the card, you're going to have that sweet little ladybug on the inside, and you will be able to see part of this red punch, but I don't care. It doesn't matter. See? Cute. So if that bothered you on the inside, you could literally cut images to go on the back of the inside that lined up with the ones on the front. Here's all your projects. They're all finished. They're all super cute. I just love them. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks for purchasing this class. I hope you had fun. Click either one of the images you see here to watch another video of mine. Click the circle with my face in it to subscribe. And if you want to purchase any products, shop with me at shoploveandstampin.com. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye-bye.